Here's the officials for tonight's game. Kerry Frazier, the referee. Bob Hodges, Brian Murphy are the linesmen. And Pupa then we got right back up onto his skates and finished the warm-up as Bork sends it deep into the Buffalo zone. Now taken and cleared. Back to center. A couple of sticks have been lost. Now here's Parker going into the corner. Now Bork goes in after it. Now it's taken by McGuire, and he is hammered into the boards by Weaver, and things are getting rough. Here's a backhand drive by Ray. Now comes back to center. The Sabres are coming out hitting here in this first period. Now Christian slides it to center. Bob Sweeney works it on into the Buffalo zone. Pupa now. He will leave it in behind the net. Now it's cleared. McGillney tried to get to it. Comes back into the Boston zone. Galley in behind the net around the boards. Up to the blue line. Craig Janney. He knocked it to center. Taken by Housley. Now gives it to McGillney. Now McGillney steps it over the line. Now for Foligno. It'll go to the corner board. Now recovered by Galley. He flips it up to Neely and a pass through to Janney. He'll come to center. Now in over the Buffalo blue line. A loose puck in it. Here's Housley coming up with it. Neely tried to get to it. Now McGillney at center. Back in over the Boston line. Each puts it right onto the stick of Janney. Here come the Bruins with the pass, but it went through the legs of Neely and back into the Buffalo zone. Pupa. People play it around waiting for it is Andrechuk. Andrechuk sends it off the boards and deep into the Boston zone. Weaver will go back after it, and the Buffalo Sabres will be called for icing. Look at Jim Weaver, formerly of the Buffalo Sabres. And John Carter. Carter's really had some success against the Buffalo Sabres. Carter, by the way, 14 games against the Buffalo Sabres in his career. He scored 8 goals and had 2 assists for 10 points.
Well, just a couple of years ago that it was touch and go whether John Carter would even stay with his club. He was brought up kind of like his last breath to make the National Hockey League, his last big chance. And he responded in a decent fashion, and he's still with this hockey club. You look at the Buffalo bench, Rick Dudley, head coach, pacing behind the bench, knowing full well the importance of this game. Boston's going to the lead in the Adams division with a win here tonight.
Face off in the Buffalo zone now. Ludwig wins the draw. Sends it back to Krug. Giving it to Snuggerud. Snuggerud is knocked off the puck, but Ludwig is there. Can't get it out. Janney with a long shot, and that went wide. Here's Neely. He bumps there with Ramsey. Ludwig tipped it back to the Boston line. Weaver. Now Arneal in after it. He'll send it in behind the Boston net. It went off the shaft of Snuggerud's stick. Weaver's pass. Now Janney at center. He lost control. Ludwig puts Janney into the boards. It'll come back into behind the Buffalo net. Recovered by Ramsey. Gives it to Arneal. Now Arneal tried to leave it for Ludwig. Back it comes to Arneal. Sends it on into the Boston zone. Lemelin leaving it there. Now it comes back to center. Kennedy lost it. Has to go back after it. He's got Ledyard on the far side. Gives it to him. Buffalo makes another change. Now Ledyard left it for Kennedy. At center, winds that one around the glass and behind the Boston net. It's picked out by Benoit Hogue. Here's a pass in front, tipped away. Five trying to get to it. He gets held into the corner. Now here's a chance for Andrechuk. Andrechuk trying to work it out in front to Five. A loose pocket sitting there. It'll come back to Ledyard. Here's Ledyard with the drive. And it's blocked. Ledyard with it again with another shot. Right on the rebound. Here's a pass to Five. Straight in the skates of Lemelin, who was down in the goal crease.
Both these hockey clubs showing good energy early in this game, and you'll see a lot of energy coming out of the Sabres right here for this offensive opportunity. They'll try to jam the front of the net with a cross-ice pass to Five, I believe, who stepped in there and just miscued on it, and then Andrechuk was right there hunting around for a rebound.
Reggie Lemelin has won his last 6 games in a row. He's played in 1 game against the Buffalo Sabres. That was a 4-3 overtime win here the last time the Bruins were here. Andy Moak played in 5 games against Buffalo. He won 2, lost 2, and tied 1.
Boston are right at the top of their game coming into this contest here tonight.
Face off in the Boston zone with Parker, Ray, and McGuire a forward line. Bob Sweeney in against Parker. Puck is dropped. Now they'll come back and behind the net. Don Sweeney takes over for the Bruins. He sends it to center. Cut off by McGuire, and again sends it back into the Boston zone. Now Bork. Bork, the leading scorer for the Bruins and also the leading defenseman in the National Hockey League in points. Now Kennedy back in behind the Buffalo net. He'll slide it up on the right side. Now it comes to center to McGuire. To Parker. Parker took a shot there from Bork and went down. It'll go to the far side, cleared off the boards, and again back into the Buffalo zone. And Pupa will leave it there for Ledger. Sends it off the boards. Bork is there to keep it in for the Bruins. Back into behind the net. To Meta. Now Kennedy. Kennedy cleared it through to McGuire. His pass to Rob Ray, and over the line. It's an offside call at the Boston blue line. And there's still no score in this game with 16:05 remaining. Rob Ray called up for last night's game in Montreal against the Montreal Canadiens after Christian Woodsu was unable to go to Montreal because of a broken nose.
I think this is one of the best hits of the season right here. Raymond Bork, he can kind of do it all. Not very often you see open ice hits like that one by Bork, and he pulled it off perfectly. Nailed one of the biggest guys out there, and Jeff Parker, and just put him right down on his backside with a thundering shoulder check right into Parker's chest.
Face off over the Boston blue line. Turgeon, McGillney, and Foligno, a forward line for Buffalo. It comes back now to Housley. Works it through the McGillney off the blade of his stick. He races after, but Lemelin will beat him to the puck. Here's McGillney, trying to get to it, trying to work it back. He's taken to the board. Now Christian. Here's a long pass to Burridge and over the line. Burridge trying to get in and go, but Housley takes it away from him, and Burridge puts Housley into the board. Now Foligno. Now the pass through to Turgeon. Locks it off his stick. Foligno backhanding it on into the Boston zone. It's cleared to center. Christian left it there. Here's Bob Sweeney in over the Buffalo blue line. Here's a pass to Burridge, and no, it hit the goalpost. It hit the goalpost and then went right along the goal line. And Burridge thought perhaps he'd had a goal, but it went right along the goal line. It never did get over the line. Now Bodger. He'll bring it back and slides it through now to McGillney into the Boston zone. McGillney trying to get around, still has control. Now puts it in front of the Boston net, and it tipped away. Now back to the Buffalo blue line. Ramsey not giving it to Krupp. Here's a pass to Snuggerud. It'll be cleared. Now Krupp will go after it on the far side, and he sends it on into the Boston zone. There'll be no icing call. Wesley works it up to Neely. The quick pass now to Janney. He sends it to the far side. Here's Janney. Neely going in front of that. The pass over to Neely. Neely tried to get it in front to Carter, but Snuggerud is there to pick it off for Buffalo. Now top the glove of Ludwig. Bork works it through at Carter. Just deflected on into the Buffalo zone. Ramsey in behind the net. Working it up to Ludwig. Ludwig taken to the boards of knockdown by Neely. They both go to the ice. Ramsey comes up with it and fires that one in off the corner boards into the Boston zone. Round to the gun to Neely. Neely with 29 goals for the Bruins, and here comes Sweeney with a shot, but Krupp got his stick on that one.
Darren Pupa coming over to the bench to get some tape on the glove hand, and watch the timing right here as Stumpy Burridge moves in for Boston. He just comes up short as he banks it off the post. As a matter of fact, it's the inside of the post.
Face off in the Buffalo zone. Now with Hogue and Richuk and by the forward line, Kennedy will go to the corner. He flips it back in behind the Buffalo net. Now it's cleared up for Hogue, but he missed it. Slides right back into the Boston zone. Don Sweeney will go back after points by 5. Round to the come to Bork. Now Bork, here's the quick pass, but an off an angle is picked up by Kennedy. Here's Kennedy working it back in now behind the Boston net. Andrechuk waiting for it. Bork gets it around. He'll come back now, taken by Hogue, winds up with a long shot. It's blocked, and Gould comes up with Eli at the Vine. And he's stripped up, and the puck comes back to the line over the Boston line. And Hogue, he was hit by Carpenter. Here's Gould with a shot that deflected off the blade of Ledger's stick. Now Gould's all over Ledger. Now Gould working it back in. Lindgren on the ice. Here's Lindgren sliding it through, and Pupa stops Galley. And then Galley was hit from behind and knocked down. There'll be no penalty. 13-16 left in the first period.
Even if it was a penalty, it would have been a good penalty to take as Galley stepped into the pocket area, and the defenseman Ledger gives him a good shot with his stick to clear him out of there right here. If anyone wants to walk in there, he better expect to get hit, and if he doesn't get hit, he'll be there all night long just taking advantage of you.
Both teams have had 2 shots on goal. And Darren Puppa with the 2.83 goals against average. Bruins lead the season series. They've won 3, lost 2, and tied 1. I'll face off in the Buffalo zone. It'll go to the corner. Take it now by Housley in front of his own net. Sends it up and it comes back to center. Now take it by Galley. Giving it to Hargood. He'll dump it again back into the Buffalo zone. Housley going back after it. Up it comes to Foligno. Now Foligno around to McGillney. McGillney, his quick pass, gives it to Housley. Now comes back, left down by McGillney into the Boston zone. Here's McGillney trying to get in on goal to get the shot. He did the rebound. Taken now. Here's the drive there by Foster Monopoly. Housley will keep it in. Sends it back into behind the Boston net. Turgeon gets tied up by Galley. Now Foligno moves in there. He's being held by Peterson. Can't get away. And Lindsay will bring it right back for the Bruins up into the Buffalo zone. He left it there now. There's a long drive by Zemetta. A bouncing puck in front of the Buffalo net back. Now here's a chance in front, and Housley takes it and sends it off the board. Back into the Boston zone. There will be no icing. Now Rob Ray is tied up with Lindsay. And they're sticked up at each other. Weimer flips it back into the Buffalo zone. Cooper trying to leave it there. Bruins rushed in quickly. Now Krupp. He sends it up. It'll be recovered by Ray. Now the pass, but it went behind. A correction, that wasn't Ray. It was Parker. Now back into the Boston zone. Wesley in control. Here's Weimer with the pass to Bob. Sweeney's got Christian on the right, left it for Christian. Christian in on goal. He shot. And he shot it wide of the net. Got Christian again. And he lost it, and Parker comes up with it. He'll bring it back for Buffalo. Ray on the left, McGuire on the right. Steps in over the line. And then Bork comes up with it, and again the Bruins come back to the pass to Burry, gives it to Christian into the Buffalo zone. Now Kennedy will go after Christian. He'll go back in now to Burry. Now Sweeney's knocked down. Ray's there. Well, the puck apparently is still loose. Now Ray doing some shoving. Looks like with Burry. Now comes free, taken by McGuire. And the puck will come back to the Boston line. Again comes back into Buffalo territory. No score, first period with 10:53 to go. Ledger gets to center. Clears it right back into the Boston zone. Don Sweeney tries to get it around to Neely, but it's taken by Barker at center. Barker drops it back to Houser. The quick pass to Ludwig and over the Boston line. It's knocked off his stick. Now recovered by Carter. He tried to get it over. Now Carter recovers it again. Comes it over the line now. He'll work it back into behind the Buffalo net. Rogers trying to get to it. Neely is there waiting for it. He gets it back in now for Janney. Janney to the far side. The pass deflected by Snuggerud into the corner. And Housley sends it around the boards, and it's tipped. Nope, not out. Still kept in now. Janney gets it back in. Carter. He was taken to the boards by Barger. Pooper will play it around to the far side. It'll come to Housley. He tried to get it off it. Back over the blue line, but Neely has control. Here's Neely with it. Neely sends it back in behind the net. Now Housley, Janney, and the Bruins still keep it deep inside the Buffalo blue line. Now Barger will go after the loose puck. He knocks it ahead to Snuggerud. And Snuggerud had trouble controlling it. Now Ludwig, he just ran right into one of the Bruins of the center ice area. It appears as though there's going to be a penalty.
Now watch the stick come up. Right there, you can see the high sticking penalty. He has to keep it down below the shoulders. Now watch right here. Watch little Randy Burge. He won't give up. Looks like his head's on a swivel like he's a speed bag.
The Bruins go to the power play. The Buffalo Sabres in penalty killing us third, but the Bruins are fourth in the power play department. Face off inside the Buffalo blue line with Turgeon. In against Bob Sweeney. It will come back. Bork has control. Cleared it to the boards now. Arneal tried to get to it. Now to come back behind the net. Ramsey sends that one around the boards. And to keep it in there is Bob Sweeney. But he was tripped up by Turgeon. Here's Sweeney with it, trying to move it inside of the backhand drive. And that one, I believe, glanced off the goal post to the right of Puppa back to Bork. Bork works it through. Here's another chance now for Christian, and he is stopped right there. Recovered by Arneal. He'll come to center. This tips it on into the Boston zone. Bork going back after it. 4 shots for the Bruins and 3 for Buffalo. Here's Bork's pass for Burry. He sends it back to Janney. Now then lost it. Snuggerud comes up with it. He'll come back to center. Trying to get through the 2 Bruins players. He'll go to the corner. Bork's there. Now here's Snuggerud going after it. He did a good job of keeping the Bruins deep in their own zone, but here they come again, led by Janney into the Buffalo zone. Now Neely will go after it. He leads the Bruins in the National Hockey League in the power play department with 12 power play goals.
Janney's going to carry the puck, be the head man on this power play. Someone has to force him a little bit at the blue line. You give him all day there, he'll kill you. Some players won't do anything with that extra time. Janney will make you look like a fool.
40 seconds left in the power play for the Bruins. Neely trying to work it back. Still has it. Gets it to the side of the net. Now for Janney. It's Quickly with it. Quickly gets it back. How good shooting. And that's deflected off a stick in front of the Buffalo net. Now back in behind the net to Janney. Neely's alone all in front of it. No, it comes. And it's picked off by Hogue. And Hogue stops just inside the Buffalo blue line. He'll skate to center with it. Winds up to the long low drive. And Lemelin makes a save and leaves it there for Hoggood. 9 seconds left in the Bruins power play. Lindsman right back in over the Buffalo blue line. Sends it through to the side of the net. Now Gould couldn't get a good shot away. Kennedy comes up with it. He sends it back now with another drive, and that is wide. Leptic is back on the ice, and the Bruins go 0 for 1 in the power play. Lindsman at his own blue line. And the Bruins again come right back in the Buffalo zone. Ramsey goes to the corner. He bumps with Semetis. McGuire's there. He'll take over. Now cleared by Ray into the Boston zone. Lemelin. Off the boards and hit Gould. That puck came off the glass and hit Bobby Gould, and he just dropped him to the ice.
And you really don't expect the puck to hit you in the face, especially if you're around there waiting for the pass. Goes up high, swinging around the glass, and caught something there that jumped out and just smacked him in the side of the head. Now watch Mike Ramsey on Christian, a former teammate. This Christian didn't know he was not going to drop to the ice. He held on to it, thought he'd march around him, but by that time, he was already, his forward movement brought him right into Christian, and no one could walk around him at that close. He's so close to him, couldn't bring the puck in close enough to walk around to the outside.
Face off in the Bruins zone. It's 7:11 remaining here in this first period. With Parker hit against Lindsman. Now Lindsman winning the draw. Ray trying to get to the corner, but coming up with it is Buckley. Works it through to Lindsman, gets over the Boston blue line. He tips it high in the air. It'll bounce to the side of the Buffalo net. Ledger in protected, and the Bruins are called for icing.
Called for icing, and Kenny Lindsman is upset. What he wanted to do is be a little closer so it wouldn't be called for icing, and he was about 3 feet short.
Rob Sabetta, he's 19 years old, number 1 pick for the Bruins in 1988. From Toronto, Ontario, played with the Marlies. 50 games for the Toronto Marlies in the Ontario Hockey League. He had 55 goals and 47 assists.
Well, physically, he's not very big, so it's important that Semeta in the first couple of years in the National Hockey League steps into a couple people and stands up physically to some of the bigger guys in the National Hockey League. So no one will take advantage of him. From what I can see so far, he's done a pretty good job of it. He doesn't seem to run. He seems to go into the corners, and he'll play the game pretty hard.
Now Hogan at center with Andrzejczyk and 5 on the wing. It'll go back in behind the Boston net. Yali working it up. Knocked away by Housley. Now Peterson knocked 5 down. We'll come back to Housley at center. Housley works it off the left wing boards back into the Boston zone. Andrzejczyk trying to get in and after it. Peterson around the boards. Well, the whistle was blown now. It appears that not perhaps the Bruins, no. Well, the referee, Kerry Fraser.
Well, they're going to have to draw me a picture here. I have no idea what this call is.
Perhaps it was an icing call against the Buffalo Sabres.
I thought it was touched, actually, before it got up over the line. So I didn't think it was icing. There you look at referee Kerry Fraser. Now the faceoff goes all the way into the Buffalo zone, and that's a dangerous position to be in. Especially if you don't win the faceoff. So the onus is on Benoit Hogue right now to pull this puck back and out of danger.
Now Carpenter in against Hogue, and Carpenter needs one more point to hit the 500 plateau mark in his NHL career. Now recovered by Housley. Carpenter chasing him. Up it comes to 5, and here's Gould with it. Will backhand it in behind the net. Now Bodger. Now it appears as though there's going to be a penalty coming up. It's going to go to the Buffalo Sabres. Has gone to the penalty box for boarding.
Well, it's a discretionary call when you get called for boarding. It's a good, honest penalty by Hogue. You take those all night long. If he's picking up penalty for hitting people, and he hit him hard, he really laid into Gould and pounded him up against the glass, and the referee, Kerry Fraser, decided it was just a little too violent and called him for the boarding penalty.
All in penalty minutes in the National Hockey League. Montreal 21st, Buffalo 20th, Boston 19th. Now Krupp hits that one around the glass. It'll go all the way right back into the Boston zone.
What do you think? Kerry Fraser has the best hair in the National Hockey League?
Possibly. Now Bork. Brickley comes up with it. Cam Neely's on the ice. Neely has 29 goals. 14 of those goals are on the power play. He's got 7 game-winning goals. He's tied with Pierre Turgeon and McLean of the Jersey Devils. All 3 of 7 game winners. Now Bork. Here's the pass to center. And again, Brickley has to go back into his own zone. Now giving it to Bork. Steps into the line, slides it through to Janney. Ramsey go into the corner. Neely is there. Janney waiting for it. He comes up with it. Now they'll try to set it up. Neely's in front of the net. It'll come back to the blue line. Bork with the big shot. The save. Putza reached down with the glove right in the goal crease to hold on with 57 seconds remaining in the penalty to hold.
You really have to watch Boston on their power play. They like to use that cross-ice pass, a lot like the Sabres try to pull off. And here's the last shot right here. You can see the puck between the legs of the goaltender, Darren Puppa. Cam Neely will move in. He's looking around for any type of puck to get a stick onto. Finds it, just kind of reaches in there and jabs at it. Darren Puppa taking one off the mask in tonight's warm-ups. Back in here as the starting goaltender.
Well, in the win department, goaltenders, Casey of Minnesota is topped with 18. Puppa and Rudy of Los Angeles next, with a total of 16 victories. Bob Sweeney now on the draw. Here's Bodger, a loose puck at the side of the net. It'll come back in. Taken by Sweeney. Here is Bork with it. Sweeney. Side of the net now. They're losing that. Was Burridge, but Burridge comes up with it, and it comes back over the Buffalo blue line. Bodger's lost a glove. Someone else. The helmet. Lost the helmet. And it's from the Bruins. Christian. Now there's 29 seconds left in the Bruins power play. Here they come again. Sweeney now. Here's Slapshot. Ludwig sprawled. Bork comes up with it. He still manages to keep it in. Bob Sweeney. Now for Bork. Sweeney gets it in front to Christian. Here's a drive. It hits the side of the net by Sweeney. Sweeney back in behind the net. Now comes back to Bork, and here's his shot. And Puppa makes the save. And it's cleared. No, they can't get it out. It's still kept in. Back into the corner. Hope steps onto the ice. Out it comes to Burridge. Loose puck. And they whistle the play down. Christian and Ludwig get tied up for a moment. They'll separate. 6 shots for the Bruins and 4 for the Buffalo Sabres. 4:24 remaining here in the first period, and the Bruins go 0 for 2 on the power play.
You look at Randy Burridge, obviously celebrating a birthday, a big sign up here at the auditorium. Happy birthday, Stump. And here's Burridge going to work right in that crease area, trying to outmuscle Doug Bodger, and finally the puck is frozen. Ludwig, a little extra shoving there, and Christian right near the end, and that starts the havoc. Now you look at the Boston bench, and really a splendid coaching job by Mike Milbury this year. Boy, I'll tell you, to pull this team together. You look at Ted Sater, formerly coach of the Buffalo Sabres. Gordy Clark, also one of the assistant coaches, has done a fine job with this Boston team, just like Dudley and his crew have for Boston, for Buffalo.
Al Puppa rolls it to the far side for 5. He's bumped in there by Gould. Hogue is there. 5 trying to move it along the boards, trying to kick at it. Still has control. Gould trying to get it from him. Finally They can't clear it out. It'll come back in behind the Buffalo net. Recovered by Housley. Watched by Carpenter. The quick pass. Up now for Vive. Now gives it to Hogue into the Boston zone. They crisscross. Here's Andrechuk with the shot, but it went off a leg. Vive will try to keep it in. It'll go to glove down now by Hogue. He couldn't get the shot away. It'll be taken by Galley. Galley getting it off the boards to a breaking Carter, but he's hit by Housley, and Gould whips it into the Buffalo zone. The Bruins will make a change to 3:34. Vive. Now brings it back with Mogilny. Here's a pass to Turgeon. He's stopped by Semeta. Now Lindgren. He'll tip it. Glove down to the line by Ledger. Now for Mogilny into the Boston zone. Foligno breaks towards the net. Here's a pass, but Weimer intercepts. And it's cleared into the Buffalo zone. There will be no icing call. Cooper will go back after it. Now Mogilny. Here's his pass. Again, it hit a Boston player. And it comes right back into the Buffalo zone. Ramsey has to go back after it. No score. We're in the first period with 2:56 to go. Will it come to Mogilny? Now the pass back to Ramsey. Ramsey gets to center. Flips it out into the Boston zone. Lemelin will leave it there behind the net. Don Sweeney around the far side. For Semeta. Turgeon gets it on the play. Try to get it free. It goes to Foligno. Foligno winds up with the shot deflected wide of the Boston net. Out comes to Lindgren. He'll tip it on it again. The Bruins will make a change. Group will go back after it. He steps over the Buffalo blue line. Now it's recovered by Foligno. Cleared it back in. Gloved out by Bork. Here's a quick pass. He sends away Burridge. Burridge now with Bob Sweeney, but Bodger got back there to make a good play for Buffalo. Now they get a whistle.
Bob Sweeney goes for roughing, and I think he's one of the most improved players I've noticed all season long in the National Hockey League. He seems to be controlling the puck much better. He wants the puck more, and he seems more like a general out there with the puck instead of getting rid of the puck all the time. He wants it. He wants to make things happen.
Now the Sabres go to their first power play. Housley will go back after it, and he comes back quickly at center. Backhanding it into the Boston zone. Now it's cleared with the off the leg of Andrechuk. Andrechuk took a swipe at it. Comes off the glass. Now recovered by Carter. Sends it back into the Buffalo zone. Pupa. He will play it away from Carpenter. But now comes right to center, and Bork has it. Vive into Vortex against Bork. Here's a long pass. Now recovered by Bodger with 1:18 left in the Buffalo power play. Turgeon. He'll come to center. Back into the Boston zone with it. Turgeon left it there at the point. Housley lost it. Back into Turgeon. Here's Turgeon. The pass over to Andrechuk, but it was too high. Couldn't get it. Couldn't knock it down. It's gloved. Here's Andrechuk trying to get the shot. The pass. Oh, and it missed by Turgeon. He was standing at the side of the net. Now comes back in again. Into the corner. Bork will go after it. He cleared it. Off the glass. Kept it by Bodger. Recovered by Andrechuk. With 1 minute remaining in the period. Here's Turgeon. Andrechuk with it. Here's Andrechuk getting it back. Gets it to Bodger. Here's Andrechuk. Winds up with the shot. The rebound. Vive. And Lemelin is there to make the save. And Vive got it poking at Lemelin's pass. Oh, and then Andrechuk took a shot there from one of the Bruins.
I thought Boston were very slow. Their defensemen were very slow in around that crease area, clearing some of the Buffalo players out. Normally they're a little quicker to jump in that situation, and they gave Buffalo all kinds of time to really hammer away at the puck. Now watch the front of the net. You see Peterson and Bork. They have to move these players out, and you can see a very gentle tap from Peterson, and both Buffalo players are kind of looking around at this point. There's the drive right there. Right on goal, the second shot, the third shot, and normally that isn't Boston style. You don't get the third shot. If you get one, be happy. If you get the second one, you're usually standing on your ear at that point.
Face-off will be in the Bruin zone into the right of Lemelin. Lemelin, 35 years old, 12th year in the National Hockey League. Now Carpenter against Parker. 48 seconds left in the period, 37 seconds remaining to the Buffalo power play. Foligno trying to get to it. Now Wesley, he'll slide it through to Carter. Fakes the shot against Bodger. And then Carter went down the ice. Housley, he will bring it back now for Buffalo. Now the pass over to Mogilny into the Boston zone. Mogilny sends it over to Housley. His pass blocked, and Carpenter. And it's gloved down now by Bodger. Here's Mogilny, lets the shot go, blocked by Wesley. Now 6 seconds left in the Buffalo power play. Mogilny on the far side. He works it over now to Housley. Housley trying to step away from Carpenter. Now the Bruins are back at full strength, and here's the drive, and Lebanon makes the save. They could get a 2-on-1 break. Carpenter comes back, and there's only 1 second remaining, and that's it. That's the end of the first period. The Sabres go 0 for 1 in the power play. The Bruins go 0 for 2. There is no score. At Buffalo with a total of 8 shots on goal. The Bruins with a total of 6. Christian Alvarez comes up with it, puts it right through the goal crease, and Ray is there to pick it off and get to the McGuire at center. Now back to the Boston line. He dumps it into the Bruins zone. Don Sweeney in after it all. He took a check there. Here's Parker trying to send it in front of McGuire behind the net. McGuire going into the corner. Now Parker comes up with it. Ray's in front of the net. Here's Parker getting it back in behind the net. Bork had lost his stick on the play. He cleared it ahead, picks the stick up, and Bob Sweeney comes back at center. Clearing it on into the Buffalo zone. Now, Ledger works that one behind the net. Gives it to Kennedy. Kennedy sends it to many men. The Bruins apparently had too many men on the ice. And the Buffalo Sabres will go back to the power play.
I was wondering if anyone was going to see it. Finally, the whistle was blown, and the referee picked it up at the last moment.
Here's the announcement.
Too many men on the ice. Boston penalty. 2-minute bench minor for too many men on the ice. The time, 47 seconds.
So the Sabres will go to their second power play of this game. Canadians hold on to a 1-0 lead over the Vancouver Canucks. Second period of that game at the Forum of Montreal. Here's a look at Brian Murphy. And he's been a linesman in the American Hockey League. He's been brought up to the National League. He's from the Boston area. On the draw, it comes back into the Buffalo zone. And Bodger will go back after it. And they've had to use him, Brian Murphy. Mike on Stickle is injured. Here's Housley trying to keep it in. They'll come back now to center, taken by Andrechuk. Andrechuk drops to the back, gives it to Bodger. Now Bodger back to Andrechuk. Quickly sends it on into the Boston zone. Lemelin missed it. Wesley goes in after Turgeon's in there. Now Carter. He sweeps back to the far corner. Bork comes up with an out, gets behind the net. Here's Turgeon taken to the boards by Wesley. It'll come to the left point. Bodger will keep it in. Gives it to Housley. Now sends it back into Turgeon. He's bumped in there by Wesley. Andrechuk trying to get to it. Vive is there. It'll come to Vive. Now back to Andrechuk. Now Vive gets it back. Here's Housley. Vive with it. Oh, Vive tried to get it back to Housley, and then he lost it off the heel of his stick, and Carter is there. Clears it back into the Buffalo zone.
It's going to be very hard for Buffalo to score a goal with 3 of their forwards, all 3 of them in behind the Boston goal.
Housley trying to break in. There goes Hogue in after to the corner. Hogue gets tied up along the boards. Now Mogilny, it'll come back to Housley. Gets it over to Bodger. Bodger with the shot, but it hits Burry. Now Housley trying to catch up to Sweeney with a drive, and Cooper makes the save, and right back up the ice comes Bodger. 30 seconds left. Here's Hogue. Hogue going to the far side, still with it. Now trying to work it out in front. Goes behind the Boston net. He tried to leave it there. Mogilny picks it off. Molino's in front. Here's Mogilny. He works it back now to Ledger. Now to Mogilny. Mogilny lets the shot go. Hit the side of the net. Fans have thought it's gone in. Hogue. Now giving it to Mogilny. Molino's in front. Mogilny back for Ledger. Mogilny. 6 seconds left. The big shot. The rebound. And it'll go to the corner, and it's cleared. Right back into the Buffalo zone, and now the Bruins are back at full strength, and both teams have gone 0 for 2 in the power play. No score. Now taken by Janney. Here's Hoggett going right in on goal, but Krupa makes the save, and the rebound recovered by Lutzig. He gets it back, but not out. Wesley's there, picked out by Lutzig. Here's Lutzig. Gets the pass to Mogilny. Mogilny trying to get in to let the shot go. He let the drive go, and then he went down to the ice. McGuire goes in after it. Now Neely goes to the ice. Now McGilding. Here's Lutzik. Lutzik into the corner. McGilding tried to work. Here's McGilding trying to get in front. Goes right in behind the net, trying to get it in front of the net, but it was deflected right to Nhl. Here he comes back into the Buffalo zone. Nhl left it there. Here's a chance for Janney, and Pupa makes the save, and he gloves it and holds on.
Buffalo have played exceptionally well in their own division. Their record is 11-6-2. Boston's record in the Adams division is a losing record, 7-8-2.
Now face off in the Buffalo zone, and Richard Carpenter wins the draw. Here's a shot by Don Sweeney. And Pupa clears out, put into the corner. Back out comes the goal. Then Pupa has the right pad on that one. Now Parker slides it ahead to Andrechuk into the Boston zone. Andrechuk unable to get by Don Sweeney. Bork plays it around to the far side. Ramsey's there to try to cut it out. Now Parker goes in on the play. He sends it back into behind the net, and Bork is there. Throws it back into the Buffalo zone. Now Pupa waiting for it. That allows Ramsey to go in to touch it, and the Bruins are called for icing.
Take a look at defenseman Mike Ramsey, a familiar figure on this defense for so many years. And I guess when you think back over the past 6, 7, 8 years, he'd have to be as good a hockey player as anyone in this organization.
Yeah, and he leads in the plus-minus department for the Buffalo Sabres with a +14. Pierre Turgeon with a +12.
Well, Ramsey leads with 14. Dean Kennedy is a -10, and that's amazing to see. Now, the Sabres have been losing lately, and to see those minus and pluses drop drastically, well, I'll tell you, they ever go down in a hurry. Turgeon had a stranglehold at one point, and now he's down to what? I believe a +10 or a +12. He was at 19 or 20 just not too long ago.
Now face off in the Boston zone. Parker. Now it'll come Burry. He clears it to center. Janney comes in over the line. There's a pass, but off the skate of Bob Sweeney. Ray puts Sweeney into the boards, and Ledger, he'll flip it to center. Peterson again shoots it right back into the Buffalo zone. Pupa let it go to the far side. Here's Bob Sweeney. He's checked by Ray. Kennedy trying to get to it. Now Ledger, he'll come away with the pass now to McGuire. It'll be taken by Parker. Parker in over the line, but it's an offside call at the Boston line. 10 shots for the Buffalo Sabres overall. They've had 2 in this period, and 12 for the Bruins. They've had 6 in this period.
There you look at Alan Peterson. If you remember the last game here, in which the Bruins ended up winning, he just had a horrible night. I mean, guys were walking around him left and right, and it looks like he's playing a much better game tonight. Now, you're talking earlier, Ted, about Raymond Bork leading this team in scoring. Not only that, he has the most shots on goal for the Boston team with 162. That has to be near tops, or might be tops in the NHL, or close to it. His plus rating is a +19, and he's like first in everything on this team. I'm sure he carries a lot more ice time than anyone else.
Face-off will be over the Bruins blue line. It'll be Skuggerud, Lutzik, and Arneal. Now Arneal trying to kick it back. Snuggerud gets tied up at center by Carter. Krupp is there. It'll come back into Peterson. Now Peterson gets it over the line to Carter. Out gives it to Janney. Back to Carter. In over the line comes the Bruins, falling down there. It'll come back to Janney with the screen shot. He scores! That would rattle off the goalpost to the right of Pupa. Then the Bruins pounced on it, and they've taken a 1-0 lead over the Buffalo Sabres. And the Buffalo Sabres had trouble defensively once the Bruins got inside the Buffalo blue line.
Well, this might be the only time of the year I've seen Snuggerud cough the puck up, and it's a bad giveaway. Instead of getting it out over the blue line, he doesn't put much on it. It's trapped by the Bruins. The shot is taken. It catches the post. Watch the puck jump up when it hits the post. Then go up across the other pipe, and who's there but Cam Neely? He can reach from here to Transit Road. He just reaches in and bangs it in with a one-hander.
Cam Neely gets his 30th goal of the season.
There's the giveaway right there. It was a direct one. There's no hiding that giveaway. Not one, but 2 posts, and that baby just jumping there, lying for someone to tap it, and big Cam Neely does the honors.
And Neely gets his 30th goal of the season. Here's the announcement.
Cam Neely. Assist number 23, Craig Janney. Neely from Janney. The time 5:11.
Here comes Foligno, and it's an offside call. Look at Mike Foligno there at the bottom of your screen last night. He played in his 800th NHL game. Now Turgeon, Carpenter. It'll come back into the Boston zone. Bourque comes to center quickly, gets it into the Buffalo zone, knocked away by Puppa. Now it's back in behind the net. How loose puck, here's a chance. And Puppa stops with another drive. He scores! Carpenter, his 500th point in the National Hockey League. And the Bruins have taken a 2-0 lead over the Sabres.
Well, it's a memorable point for the goaltender, Carpenter, and it's a good one. This is an individual effort right here. He'll face a challenge from the one player. You can see, I believe that was McGillney. He's just reaching out instead of playing his body. He reaches out, tries to bat the puck away. Then Phil Housley comes in. You can see right there, instead of playing the man, you're playing the puck, and then still nobody comes at him. Finally, Housley comes in, but it's about 2 seconds too late at that point. Buffalo not strong in their own zone. They were just simply outworked and out-hustled on that goal. That's a heck of a goal by Bobby Carpenter. I'll tell you something. He really did a lot of work all by himself.
Carpenter gets his 13th goal of the year. The Bruins take a 2-0 lead with 14:17 remaining in the second period.
You see, he just picked the puck up from the referee. He'll bring it over to the bench and give it to the trainer. That baby's going up in his own Hall of Fame in the basement. The Shrine.
Now the face-off. Following the second goal by the Bruins, it'll come back now to Bourque. Here's Barger sending it back into the Boston zone. Five trying to get to it. Wesley. And it put off the shaft of Hold's stick. Now cleared into the Boston zone. Five going in after. Here's Barger. Quick shot. Level makes the save. Round will come now. Taken by Andrechuk. Andrechuk trying to work it back to Housley. Here's the announcement of the goal.
Number 11, Bob Carpenter. Assist number 25, Andy Brickley, and number 18, Bobby Gould. Carpenter from Brickley and Gould. The time 5:43.
Al Bodger, he will flip it back into the Boston zone. Brickley will go after it, and the Sabres are called for icing. That'll bring the face-off back into Buffalo territory. So the Bruins striking quickly here in the second period.
You're looking at Andy Brickley and Mike Milbury. Their coach says he's one of the smartest players he's ever coached. Well, certainly one of the smartest in the NHL.
Neely gets his 30th from Janney at the 5:11 mark. And then they came right back again with a goal at the 5:43 mark. Carpenter is 13th from Brickley and Gould.
Well, the onus was really on Buffalo here to win this hockey game, and so far they're out of it by 2 goals. And they're playing a hockey club, the Boston Bruins, that are coming into this game going for first place, and so far they're deserving first place because they're certainly playing better in Buffalo, and they're working just as hard, if not harder.
Face off in the Buffalo zone with Andrechuk in against Lindsman. And the Sabres need a goal here before the end of the second period to get back into the game.
You bet.
Now Gould, another Semeta. Gets it back, gets it to Galley. Kicked by Lindsman into the corner, recovered by Krug. Now the pass, it is deflected by McGuire. They get a whistle, and the face-off will be into the right of Darren Puppa. Greg Hargood, number 9 pick for the Bruins, 21 years old. He's only 5'8", 175 pounds. Last year in 56 games, he had 16 goals.
He's a handy little guy to have around, and he really is little. Forward and defense. He's in both positions.
And in 43 games this year, he's got 7 goals. Now Krug stops in behind the Buffalo net. The Bruins have taken a 2-0 lead. Now it'll come to Andrechuk. He'll flip it high into the air. It'll bounce back into the Boston zone, taken by Parker. He'll skip it to the corner, but Dwyer goes in after it. He's taken into the boards by Peterson. Now Parker. It's tied up by Galley. And finally, it is cleared high into the air, back into the Buffalo zone. Krug going back after it, being chased by Semeta. Krug, he steps by one, comes over the blue line, and lost it to Lindsman. Now Krug regains control, drops it back into Ramsey. cleared. Peterson. Now Krupp is there. Shoots it back into the Boston zone. And Galley goes back after him.
There's Bobby Carpenter. A big night, not only for the Boston Bruins to this point in the game, but for Bobby Carpenter, 500 point in the National Hockey League. It was a beauty, too.
Now Turgeon and Bob Sweeney. Here's Burridge now. He fell down, taken it by Ledger. He'll bring it back to McGeely on the left and Foligno on the right. The pass over to McGeely. McGeely going right in on goal. He tried to get it in front of Foligno. He couldn't get the pass to him. Now comes back at center. Third again to the Boston line. Would have taken it by Sweeney. Steps in over the line. Here's a chance now for Christian. Backhand drive. Krupa makes the save. Now, Turgeon gave it to Ledger. It'll come to Dean Kennedy. Quickly sends it into the Boston zone. Now Foligno. And he was hit and knocked down. The Bruins come right back. Led by Christian. With Bob Sweeney. They step in over the Buffalo blue line. Christian with a pass in front. And Krupa knocked it ahead to Turgeon. Here he comes with Foligno. Here's a quick pass to McGeely. Trying to get in on goal. And he flips it wide of the net on the backhand. McGeely shot it wide. Again, the Bruins come back. It goes in now for Weimer. He lost it. Now Snuggerud. He'll bring it back up the ice. With the pass, but it went behind Arneal. Now taken by Snuggerud. Works it back into the Boston zone. Lustig trying to go after it. Here's Lustig with Snuggerud in front. Lustig right behind the net. Still with it. There's the drive, and it didn't get in front of that. Snuggerud behind the net. Snuggerud still with it. Trying to bring it out in front with a shot, and block level in his head. He gloves it in the goal crease. It holds on. Lustig hit from behind by Weimer.
Boston were a bit tentative. Because Buffalo were allowed to really freewheel in the Boston zone, and they just about put their first goal of the night in. Watch the action right here. Here's the opportunity for McGill. He really has Lemelin beat at this point. Here, just put it in, the open net. But no, the puck is rolling, slides off the end of the stick. From behind. You'll even have a better look at it. Keep an eye on the puck. Hopefully you'll see it go up on the side. There it is. It's rolling at this point. He almost takes a chop at it instead of shooting it, and it jumps up over the blade of the stick. Just caught part of it. Alexander McGillney probably taking one of the all-time greatest elbows, obvious elbows I've ever seen thrown in the National Hockey League by Chris Chelios last night. He just knocked him fuller than a mackerel.
And there was no penalty called. McGillney in his last 12 games, 5 goals, 5 assists for 10 points.
I guess what surprised me more than anything else, there was no response from his teammates. And then a couple started to shove and push a little bit, but Chelios for the rest of the night, the remaining 3 minutes, he had 2 or 3 shifts on the ice, and no one even breathed, even looked twice at him.
Now Hogue in against Carpenter. And the puck will go to the corner. Galley gets it off the glass, flubbed down by Housley. He puts it in front, and Hogue, he was taken down in front of the Boston net. Now the Bruins start to come back, but it's not through. Here they come again. Hogue back in, now to Vai. Vai with a quick shot. Lemelin makes the save. Hogue comes up with the rebound. Andrechuk's in for the net. He stops along the board. Now Carpenter gives it to Gould at center. He will clear it in wide. And Housley takes over. Flips it to the far side, where it's taken by Andrechuk. Andrechuk's pass, but it went behind Hogue and flies out into the Boston zone. There will be no icing. Don Sweeney sends that one around the board. Here's Carter with it. Now recovered by Barger. Quickly now. At center. Quickly and over the line with a long shot. That went wide. Andrechuk. He cleared it. Bounces back at the Boston line. Bork with a quick pass up. Now for Lindgren. Bork comes back after. Gives it to Don Sweeney. And there's 10 minutes remaining here in the second period. Now Bosker. Kept in again by Sameta. Luke puts that around to the far side. Hogue kicks it over the line. Recovered by Lindgren. He sends it back into the port. Now back to Lindgren. Left wing pass over to Don Sweeney to the Buffalo zone. It's it back. It's recovered now by Parker. Parker left it there. Wrong way. Picks it up. Works into the Boston zone. Sends it behind the net. Back in behind. Here's McGuire. McGuire now going to the corner, but Bork is there. And it's off the glass and again. Right back into the Buffalo zone. Ramsey going back to touch it. The Bruins are called for icing. face-off in the Bruin zone. And it's Boston leading by 2-0. It'll be Turgeon. And now against Bob Sweeney. And the puck will go to the corner boards, taken by Wesley. Around the boards, Kennedy tried to cut it out. The puck comes all the way back into the Buffalo zone. Lakers in behind the net, being chased by Christian. Out comes the Turgeon. He'll send it off the glass again, back into the Boston zone. Wesley, Foligno, trying to get in there to forecheck. Foligno takes him to the boards. Here now is McGeely. McGeely behind the net, still with it. Has it, he gets it back to Kennedy. Reached for it, but he could not keep it inside the blue line. Now back to McGeely again. And he'll go back into the zone to be watched there by Sweeney. Now it'll come to Ledger. Gets it off the boards, giving it to Turgeon. Here's Turgeon, center. Steps in over the line. Foligno's waiting for it. And again, it's cleared to center. Kennedy has to go back to the zone of blue line. He lost it to Burry. But it's an outside call right at the Buffalo blue line with 8:29 remaining here in this second period. And Randy Burry with 12 goals, 42 games.
When Buffalo were playing their best hockey, they would send a line out, check you to death, drive you crazy. Then the next line would come out, it would be the scoring line, say Turgeon's line. Then they would score a goal, you'd be a little down in the mouth, and on top of that, Parker's line would come out next, and they would beat the living daylights out of you and even drive you more into disgust about playing the game that night. And that's not happening anymore. It's very infrequent to see 3 good shifts in a row from the Sabres. You get one every now and then, but not 3, 4, 5 in a row.
Ludwig will bring it down the left side. Tips it on into the Boston zone, but it went right into the penalty box area on the far side.
Craig Janney, a very, very heady hockey player, valuable player to this team, especially on the power play. With that overtime goal the last time they're in here, the 4-3 win over Buffalo, and I think back in that game, Ted, that Buffalo would have won that game that night. It would have took care of Boston as far as first place was concerned for a long, long time. They didn't win, and ever since then Boston getting closer and closer every day of the week.
Well, the Bruins have been playing extremely well, winning 7 of their last 8 games. Now Neely, it's taken by Snuggerud, and here's Arneal with the shot, but it did not get through to an off escape. The Bruins will come right back with Janney. Check there from behind by Ludwig. Steps in over the line. Here's Janney trying to move in on goal. And it looks like there's going to be a holding call against the Buffalo Sabres.
Well, they got tied up, and you'll see Janney controlling the puck, waltzing into the Buffalo zone. See down the bottom right? That's where the sticks come up. They get shoving at one another. The referee just made the call right on the spot. Now that nonsense, boys. No high sticking. You want to play the body? Great. Going to bring the sticks up, you're gone.
Now face off in the Buffalo zone. And Hoke wins the draw. It'll come back into behind the net, taken it by Krupp. Krupp now works it through the line, gets it to Hogue at center. He cleared it in, but he couldn't get it in far enough into the Boston zone. Now Ford. Andrechuk runs into Don Sweeney, reaching back after Andrechuk. Here he comes. He's got Hogue. Steps into the line. It's an offside call. Andrechuk should have given the puck to Hogue right at the Boston line, but decided to hold on to it.
Or Vive on the right-hand side. Vive just about ripped his groins out trying to hold up on the play. Couldn't.
Well, Rick Vive, 5 goals in his last 7 games.
You know, sometimes you just don't see that winger being open, but then, you know, the winger has to have some responsibility also. He has to be yelling and screaming at the guy at the puck to tell him he's open. He's just going down there with your mouth shut and not letting him know. Sometimes you have no choice but to bury your head trying to control the puck, and then you really depend on your teammates just giving you a yell or a whistle, let you know if they're open or not.
Now Pupa, he'll give the puck to Housley. 7:25 left in the second period. Slides it ahead to Bonker. Now Andrechuk. Andrechuk now to Vive. The 2-line pass, and they whistle it down. The face-off again will come back inside the Buffalo blue line.
Well, you see lines that have been together for a long time make those blind passes. They almost learn how to make passes out of instinct, just from knowing one another's moves and timing and where people will be at a certain moment. Look at Rick Dudley and Donnie Liebert over to his left. Well, yeah, they have a lot to think about these days. They're doing a lot of extra homework, I'm sure, watching these games, going over and over these games, trying to figure out what the problem is, and they just keep on coming up short every game like this.
Now Gould will clear it into the Buffalo zone. Housley swings in behind the Sabres net. He darts back quickly down the left side. At center. Shoots it into the Boston zone. There goes 5 into the play. 5 sends it to the other corner. Nobody's there for Buffalo. And that allows Galley to come up with it. Now it'll come back. Oak tried to keep it in. A bouncing puck at center. Bodger gets it back to Housley. Gives it to Vine. Now back in for Bodger. Housley. He tries to spin away, but he's taken to the board by Brickley. Now Holt comes in, puts Brickley into the board.
Called another boarding penalty, I believe, like the first one he took.
Now Holt's going to pick up another penalty.
Well, I think referee Kerry Fraser, if he could, he'd like to take this over again. I'm not too sure if he's happy with the call he made because he kind of let up on it. He really didn't hit the guy all that hard. Drove him up against the boards, and either you call those or you don't. And that's the second one called on Holt so far in this game. It's almost like he had second thoughts after blowing the whistle.
Now the Bruins go to their third power play. With Ramsey's there, and he quickly sends that one back into the Boston zone.
I'm sorry, Ted, but they're really, let me point this one thing out. The NHL are really trying to stop the hits from behind also. That's why the call was made.
Again, it comes back into the Buffalo zone. Pupa will play it. But it hit the glass, apparently, and then it went into the crowd.
You know, I forgot about that, and it's a great call. I'm the one that's wrong saying Fraser would like to take it back. The call he made in Hogan's fine. Because I'll tell you, that's a real problem. Being a player, you get hit from behind, you're not ready for it. Boy, that's how you really get injured. And so the last couple of years, the NHL said, well, let's try to really cut down on these hits from behind when the guy doesn't know it's coming. He has no chance to brace himself. He just goes flying lip first into the board. And that's what happened in this last hit here by Hogue. So it was a good call by Kerry Fraser. 5 years ago wouldn't have been a good call, but the way they have things set up, it's fine now.
Now Lutzig in against Janney. Lutzig makes the play, gets it back to Ramsey, and he'll clear it off the glass back into the Boston zone. The Bruins are on the power play. Lutzig, he took a shot there from the goaltender Lemelin, and he's still holding his head as he comes back up the ice. Here is Bork with it now. Bork to the far side, and Wesley tried to let a shot go, and he fanned on it. Now Ramsey will go after it. Ramsey comes up with it, works it back. It's off the leg of Wesley, gets it over to Bork. There's the pass and the drive, and Pupa makes the save, and Ramsey is there to send it again back into the Boston zone with 1 minute remaining in the penalty to Hope. Buffalo makes another change. Turgeon steps on. Now Bork getting it off the boards to the far side to Janney. Knocked away by Arneal. Troop will go in after. Again, Janney comes up with a Troop. There's a loose puck in front with a high drive, and Pupa makes the save. Janney comes up with it again. Being chased by Troop. Now it'll come back to Burridge. It'll come back to Burridge. Here's a drive. They still haven't blown a whistle. Finally, they do. Now Janney was hit and knocked down the far side.
Zubik Troop that was tied up with him, and before that, little Randy Burridge, I mean, you talk about a mismatch. The size of Krupp and Burridge goes up to about his navel and really made mincemeat out of Krupp as he wheeled to the front of the net for a good scoring chance. Then Krupp got tied up with Janney. Maybe we'll have a look at it. Here's the drive from back at the point. It'll go wide, and there it is. Right there, that could have been the third goal, maybe enough for Boston to win. But the save was made. Here's Bork. The nice low drive. You can see a save is made. Pupa right back up into his feet again. Now, watch Janney right here. He gets tied up with Krupp. See the stick? Is that Ted? I can't tell.
It's tough to tell.
Either the stick or something caught him. The glove caught him on the side of the head. Must have been the stick. He went down. I don't know. Are they going to call a penalty here? Raymond Bork is over chewing out the referee, looking for one. And if this was a high stick, well, here it is right here. Oh, there's no doubt about it. Troop should have a penalty. There's no question about it.
Well, the same thing happened last night in Montreal. Snuggerud got hit with a high stick, and the referee did not see it. They did not call a 5-minute major on one of the Canadian players.
That's why it's hard to argue, I guess, about the refereeing. But, you know, in a way, over the season, everything evens up a little bit. Snuggerud the fellow should have been called to hit Snuggerud last night, but once again, here's an opportunity where a call should have been made against Buffalo, and it wasn't. Now watch Ludwig right here going in behind the net. Can you see the stick come up? That's a little follow-through, so there's all kinds of high sticking going on here tonight that hasn't been called. Just nonchalantly kept the stick up there and let that man skate right into it.
Face off over the Buffalo blue line as Parker sends it back. There's 25 seconds left in the Bruins power play. Fork swings it over the far side. Gets it out of Hagen. He sends it into the Buffalo zone. Kennedy goes after it. Being chased in there by Burry. Bob Sweeney. Here's a loose puck now. Big covered by Christian. 13 seconds left in the power play. Christian gets it back. Now Parker comes up with it. He tried to clear it. Gloved it down. Taken by Ludwig. He'll come back into the line. Ludwig going into the corner. He's taken to the boards. Parker tried to get to it. Buffalo is back at full strength. It'll come back to Kennedy. Now taken by Parker. Here comes Hagen in over the Buffalo line with 4:20 left to play in the second period. 2-0 the Bruins lead. Christian slides it back in now. Behind the net to Sweeney. Now Christian with it again. Gets at it. Backhanding it. It's gloved by Pupa. Oh, he tries to play it. He gets shot. He tried to play it. He was checked from behind. And Bodger now giving it to Turgeon. Gets by one. Gets by another one. It'll come back to Kennedy. Now there's going to be a penalty to the Bruins. And Pupa has gone to the Buffalo bench. 3:51 remaining.
The Carpenter is going to go. He came down. He clamped too hard on the slash. I don't know who he hit. It might have been Pierre Turgeon, but Boston have really controlled Turgeon tonight. Kept him out of the action pretty well through this whole game. Really, he hasn't had an opportunity to really crank it up. So let's take a look at it. Maybe pick the slash up at home. Watch right here. It's not a one-hander. That's a good old-fashioned two-hander. And Turgeon kind of lays the left pipe out and catches it on the side of the elbow. There you look at Pierre, and just not really kicking into gear, igniting the last 5 or 6 games. There's a big difference in the win and loss column when he's not playing up to his abilities. And here's Pupa trying to move a little bit with the puck, but moving very slowly, and he's thinking a little bit too much at that point. While he's thinking, the Bruins sneak up from behind and almost snag the puck and stare at an empty net.
Sabres go to their third power play. Housley now working it through, but it's intercepted by Carter, and he quickly gets to the back into the Buffalo zone. Now there's 3:40 left to play in the second period. Bodger giving it to Housley. Ahead now to 5. Here's Buckley with it again. Shoots it right back into the Buffalo zone. Bodger. Now for Turgeon. He'll come over the Buffalo line, gets to center, and again he's stopped, and Bork is there to shoot it back into the Buffalo zone.
No teamwork right now. They're working as individuals. They're starting to panic a little bit.
Out comes to Bodger. He'll bring it back. Now gives it to Turgeon. Turgeon comes in over the Boston line. Knocked it off the leg of Wesley. Wesley clears it to center. Here's Carter. He lost it. Now 5. He'll bring it back in over the Boston line. It's right there. It's blue line. And Richuk gets it back in. Now 5. Works it back. Gives it to Bodger. Here's Bodger. Winds up with the shot. Lebanon makes the save of the low drive. And Richuk trying to work it back, and it's tipped by Carter, and Pupa comes out of that with 52 seconds left in the power play. Now Bodger with it again. Here's the pass. Tips down into the Boston zone. Lemelin will leave it for Bork. Now Pupa shoots that one behind the net with 38 seconds to go. Now Gould is there. Recovered by Hogue. He'll come to center with Foligno into the Boston zone. Now Hogue trying to go to the corner. Still with it. He is held there, recovered by Bogildi. Bogildi getting it back to Housley. Back into the corner now. Here comes to Bogildi. Here's a pass over now for Ledger. It's a drive, and it's gloved down and to the goal crease. Foligno, he went right over the top of Peterson. Face-off will be into the right of the Boston net.
Well, that's the way to play. Just the way Foligno was going to the front of the net and showing an awful lot of energy as Ledger drilled the puck, but drilled it very high. He'll march right in there like a good soldier, except he doesn't put the puck away. Lemelin is down. See the puck jump up? Hogue trying to dish it back to one of his teammates with a hand pass. It's a pretty nifty shot right here. I like this shot by Ledger because he put the puck up high. He realized Lemelin was down low, tried to put it over his shoulder. Foligno could see that the puck was batted out of the air by his teammate Hogue, who went diving in there. looking for the loose puck, couldn't find it. 7 seconds left on this Buffalo power play, and a lot of solo attempts on this power play by the Buffalo Sabres. Instead of making that nice move at the blue line with a pass or throwing it in deep, they're almost trying to go through the whole Boston team by themselves.
Now Parker with 1:58 remaining in the second period. Will be taken by Wesley. He cleared it. Now Bob Sweeney tipped it ahead to Burridge against Troop. Burridge in the far side. Good move there, but now Pupa working it around to McGuire. And the Bruins are back in full strength. Here's the pass to Parker. He'll tip it on into the Boston zone. Ray tried to get in after it. Wesley's there. Knocked away, and the Bruins come back. Bob Sweeney, 3-on-2 situation for the Bruins. Christian. Here's Christian with a pass in front of the net, and Burridge unable to get to it. Now recovered by McGuire. It'll go to Ray. Ray tips it on into the Boston zone. McGuire going in against Peterson. Now it comes back in front of the net. And finally it's tipped right back into the Buffalo zone. Troop with 1:09 to go. Now Troop's giving it to McGuire. Gets it back to Parker at center. With O'Neill on the left into the Boston zone. Lets the high drive go, but off the glass, came back, and Lemelin decides to hold on with 1 minute to go in the period. 21 shots for the Bruins, 17 for the Buffalo Sabres.
If you take a look at the Boston defense, watch when Buffalo shoot the puck in, and you'll see the one Boston defenseman go back for the puck. Please notice his defense partner. Watch where he goes, how he causes a little interference for his partner to give him that extra 2 or 3 seconds to grab the puck and get turned around and face the other end of the ice. The interference has been exceptionally good here tonight for Boston. Well, you look at the score, 2-0, and once again, Ted, we've reached that point in the game where it's so critical of who scores the next goal. If Boston score the next one, make that score 3-0, that might do it. But Buffalo get it. You're looking at a pretty exciting third period of hockey if Buffalo scores the next goal.
Now broken stick just over the Boston blue line. Bob Hodges going to pick up the pieces of the stick. Here's a look at Bobby Carpenter with a goal here tonight. His 500th point in the National Hockey League. Now Ludwig. He'll go in against Carpenter. 57 seconds remaining in the second period. Carpenter wins the draw. Peterson behind the Boston net. He just fires that one off the glass. Ledger will go back after it. Again, the Bruins are called for icing. Now there's 41 seconds remaining here in this second period. Now the Canadians have a 3-2 lead over the Vancouver Canucks in the second period.
When you see them, when the puck is thrown down the ice like it just was by the Bruins, you really have to give the opposing team, which is the Buffalo Sabres, a lot of credit for the way they set up. They're forechecking where their positioning was in the Boston zone. They really didn't give Boston anything to pass the puck to. No one was open. They didn't have any choice. You bank it off the boards and down. Hopefully it is icing, but in that case it was.
Now Turgeon, 5 and Andwichuk. With Housley and Ledger back at the point. Turgeon winning the draw, comes back to Housley. Here's Housley going into the corner, Vives in front of the net. Housley right behind the net, trying to get it out in front. It's blocked. It comes back. There's 33 seconds to go. Vives trying to keep it in. It'll come back to the Buffalo blue line. Ledger steps to center, gives it to Turgeon. And it's an offside call at the Boston line with 24 seconds remaining.
There are 3 occasions now in this game where Rick Vive has gone offside, this time by about a foot or two, and I guess once or twice it's bound to happen. When you start doing it consistently, you have to figure you're costing your team some chances, offensive chances. Here's an opportunity right here for Buffalo. Now, either you get a break in those situations or you don't. One way or the other. Obviously didn't work out for Buffalo. Jumped up high over Andrechuk's stick and it was gone. 24 seconds remaining in the second period. Bruins with a 2-0 lead. A hard-fought game here at the Auditorium. Buffalo being outshot 21-17.
The draw, Turgeon gets it back. Here's Ledger to the long low drive, and Lemelin just saw that puck at the last second. Now again, a quick drive, and Lemelin makes the save again with 12 seconds to go. Back to Housley. is Turgeon, but it came over the blue line apparently, and the play is whistled down with 9 seconds remaining.
Here you're looking at Phil Housley, and of all the points he has, he's one of the few players on this Buffalo team that have scored more points on the road than at home.
Yeah, in the last 7 games, Housley's picked up 3 goals and 8 assists for 11 points. He scored 2 goals last night in that loss to the Montreal Canadiens. Now there's 9 seconds remaining here in the second period, and it appears the Bruins will take a 2-0 lead into the second intermission. Out comes back, and again it's just tipped back into the Buffalo zone. Ledger will go back after it. Call for icing with 3 seconds remaining here in the second period. 3 seconds left on the clock. A face-off will be in the Bruin zone. And I'm sure that they'll try to get it back to Housley, and as a result now they're going to pull goaltender Darren Krupa and put in a 6th skater.
Hey, why not? The Canadians pulled it off to tie the Buffalo Sabres. Last time the Canadians played here at the Auditorium. Buffalo can certainly try themselves to pull out the same type of play.
There'll be 6 skaters for the Sabres inside the Boston blue line. 3 seconds left on the clock.
Sometimes the coach won't pull the goaltender with 3 seconds remaining. They're comfortable with 2 or 1. 3, they start feeling their throat a little bit, but Rick Dudley feels comfortable with the situation. Let's watch the draw and for the quick shot.
Turgeon will go in against Carpenter. Try to draw it back to 5. Now the puck is dropped. Here's a pass in front. Krupp unable to get to it, and the period is over, and the Bruins will take a 2-0 lead into the third period. Shots on goal in the second period. Buffalo with 11, Boston with 15, and after 2 periods of play, the Bruins with 21 shots on goal, the Buffalo Sabres with 19.
Boston teams, Ted. You look at them player for player, and they don't match up with Buffalo. They don't match up teams. The biggest game of the year, they're coming into Buffalo's own building, and they're pulling it off here, and it even gives them more credit.
Now Bork, he'll send it into the Buffalo zone. Krupa leaving it. There goes Christian in after it. A loose puck. Knocked away. Now McGuire tries to get to it. He sends it back in. Bob Sweeney goes in. Bodger's there. Gives it to Parker. Now Parker's pass to Housley. Here he comes. Got McGuire on the right into the Boston zone. Gets it back now for Rob Reeve. He knocked it in behind the net. Housley took a check there at the side of the net. McGuire trying to get to it. Housley trying to get away from Don Sweeney. Housley kicked it back now to Parker. Here's Parker with it. Now Housley, he'll go to the corner. Housley tried to get it back and Burry comes up with it for the Bruins, but he'll tip it to center. Now Bodger. Ray backhanded into the Boston zone. Buffalo will make a change. Polino steps on. Now it'll come back. Here's Ray trying to keep it in. Sends it towards the net. He'll go back into the corner. Now Krupp tried to glove it down to the blue line. Was unable to. They both Neely in after it. And there's no icing call. Neely taken to the boards by Ramsey, and Krupp will come away with it for Buffalo. Here's the pass. Reached for it, but missed it. Now Weaver. Wesley. Amberchuk had it knocked off his stick on into the Boston zone. Wesley being chased by Andrew. Oh, and Wesley just ran right into the back of the net. Wesley, I believe, hit that bar going from the center of the net down to the back of the net.
Tried to cut the corner a little too sharp. That was probably the hardest hit he's taken in his NHL career right here. Watch. You see his skate got caught in the back of the net, and that's what sent him for the flip. It probably shocked him more than anything.
Well, the Buffalo Sabres, when they've been trailing after 2 periods of play, they have won 1, lost 11, and tied 3. When the Bruins have had the lead after 2 periods, they've won 15, lost 2, and tied 1.
Well, Raymond Bork having another big game here tonight, and really a solid picture. I thought he kind of set the tone a little bit early in the game when he threw a terrific check on Jeff Parker and just laid him right out in open ice. And if Boston were a little short in confidence as far as how they were going to play this game physically, they certainly weren't after that hit. You can see Wesley right there favoring his right leg as he goes off the ice.
Well, Raymond Bourque in his last 6 games coming into this game tonight has picked up 3 goals, 5 assists for 8 points. And he leads all defensemen in the National Hockey League in scoring with 8 goals, 42 points for 50. 42 assists for 50 points, and he scored the game winner on Thursday against the Winnipeg Jets.
Well, you tell me, a great player like Steve Yzerman, he's fighting to get out of the basement with his team. Gretzky's, they're laying around 3rd place. Lemieux is near the bottom in his division. Then you have a guy like Raymond Bourque, who's fighting for 1st place. There it is once again. You tell me who the MVP should be.
Well, the Los Angeles Kings now head home. They beat Washington, then they went into Long Island. They lost to the Islanders, they lost to the Devils, and then they lost last night to the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Any given night.
2-0, the Bruins lead. Hogue winning the draw, gets it back to Ramsey. Ramsey winds up with the drive, and Levelin makes the save. Here's Foligno trying to keep it in. Out at the back of the corner. Foligno with it again. Gets it back behind the net. Ambrichuk going in after it. He tried to send it in front, but it went off the skate of Carpenter, and quickly will bring it right back down to the Bruins and over the line with Gould. Gets it back to Gould. Here's Gould shooting, and that one cranked off, I believe, the crossbar. You could hear it all the way up here. It went off the crossbar. Now Gould back into the Buffalo zone. He's taken into the play by Foligno. Ramsey behind the net, and he runs into Brickley, and Brickley went to the ice. Now Hogue, head to Andrichuk. Austin Carpenter turns at the line. Buffalo would like to get a goal here in this 3rd period to get back into the game. Here's Foligno with the shot deflect off a leg in front of the Boston net. Andrichuk poking at it. Now Hogue moves in. Galley. Here's Snuggerud in on the play. It'll come back in front of the net. Don Sweeney now. Bogildi missed it. Gould is there. And again, clears to the back into the Buffalo zone. Ledger in behind the net. 2.5 minutes have gone by here in the 3rd period. Snuggerud will bring it into the Boston zone, and again it's tipped back over the line, and Kennedy, he works to the back into Boston territory. Now Bourque. Ledger. Off the skate, it's sitting there. Recovered by Christian. Back it comes to Bob Sweeney. Sweeney still with it. Right in behind the Buffalo net. He gets it back to Christian. The shot of it off the left arm of Pupa. Now Burridge going in after it. Here's Burridge. He tried to leave it there. He was taken down in Gerjon. He'll bring it back. Gets to center, slides it through to McGildy. McGildy waiting now, trying to get the shot. Good. And the puck comes back down to the Buffalo blue line. Housley working it through to Sergeant. And he is stopped at the Boston line, and that allows Bourque. Clear it right back into the Buffalo zone. Housley after the rolling puck. Bruins make a change. Housley steps by 1. The quick pass. Now gives it to Arneal. Back to Arneal. Arneal lets the shot go. Just wide the net. Back into the end of Ludwig. The puck is sitting there. Now it'll go to Janney. 5 goes into the corner. Puts him into the boards. Now comes back in behind the net. Ludwig still tied up. Here's Housley coming in deep. Gets it out in front. But Neely is there to intercept. It was going right to the stick of Arneal. Here come the Bruins. Now there's going to be a penalty. 5 on a hold of Janney's sweater from behind, and 5 is going to go to the penalty box, and the Bruins will go to their 4th power play.
Pick 5 will go for holding. Many times it means one player is skating and working hard, and the other player is just holding, grabbing, and hanging on and going for the ride. And that might have been the case, although we haven't got the replay of it.
Now the Bruins to the power play. They're 4th of the game. They're 0 for 3. Bourque giving it to Janney. Now Janney gets it back to Bourque. Shooting, shot it wide. And the Bruins keep it in back into the corner. Quickly taken to the board. Now the puck goes high into the air. It's glove. No, it's off the glove of Pupa. And he scoops it around. Here's Bourque leading for it at the right point. Again, it comes back into Janney behind the net. Tried to work it in front to Neely. Here now is Hoggood with the drive and the save and the rebound. Taking it back again. It comes to Hoggood. He fell down. Sends it back in. And it's an outside call. Greg Hoggood going into his 3rd year, 2nd year with the Boston Bruins.
Watch the referee, Kerry Fraser, right here. You can see him along the boards. The puck is heading towards his head. How about that? Is he reaching out? He's going to grab it. Well, there's a bench you're looking at, and probably a lot of people, they're very puzzled right now, and doing the best they can to try to figure out how they can get this thing turned around. And sometimes, well, you can think all you like and try everything, and nothing really happens.
Lemelin with one shutout this season. Back it comes to Kennedy. There's a drive. And now Lemelin will just leave it there. The Bruins, here they come with the man advantage. Bork. Hits it to Bob Sweeney into Buffalo zone. Sweeney now. He gets it back to Bork. Bork into the corner. Sweeney. Side the net now for Burry. Didn't come back and hops over the blade of Bork's stick. 1 minute left in the Bruins power play. Now Bork giving it to Sweeney. Tipped away by Snuggerud. Now Bork trying to get away from Snuggerud. He sends it to Burry. Burry blasts it off his skate. Now Barger going in there. He's being held by Christian Burry. Slide to the back to Bork. Bork with the shot, the save, the rebound in front. Burry's a sprawling effort by Barger. And ahead it comes now for Dean Kennedy with the long drive. And Lemelin just got the right skate on that with 24 seconds left in the Bruins power play. Here's Arneal. And he's tripped up behind the net. It'll come back now to Housley with a big shot there. Around for Ramsey. He will keep it in for Buffalo. Now taken by Arneal into the corner. Sweeney comes up with it. It'll come back and over the line. Turgeon. And the fans like that one that Arneal was taken down. Now the Buffalo Sabres are back at full strength, and here comes Turgeon. He'll break into the Boston zone. And then he locks it. Now Wesley giving it to Gould. Now to Burry. He will flare it on in. And the Bruins continue to lead 2-0 with 13:33 left to play. Here in this third period, Lemelin leaving it behind the net, gives it to Galley. Now for Peterson. Cleared by Carter on into the Buffalo zone. Ledyard will go to the corner. Gets it off the glass. Gloved down by Gould. Taken by Carpenter. Here's Carter with the shot. And that went wide. Housley will go after it on the far board. Slides it back in behind the net. Ledyard. Worked it, would have went off the skate. Cleared by raw play. Gets it to McGuire. Into the Boston zone. He'll go to the side of the net. Lemelin. He'll play it. Off the, went right over the glass and into the crowd. Oh, we've got Arneal, or rather, McGuire and Peterson. Rob Ray's trying to get in there as well. Reggie Lemelin with one shutout this season. And Andy Moog have been playing a majority of the games, but now Lemelin has been playing well, and he has won his last 6 starts. Andy Moog was in for that victory over the Washington Capitals last night at the Boston Garden.
35 years old. He should know how to play the game by now. Here, look at Kevin McGuire came up with the cross-check. It looked like he was lucky he didn't get more than 2 minutes. Looked like he brought the stick up and just cross-checked Peterson across the neck area.
Benoit Hogue along with Polino and Andrechuk. Face off the Boston zone. 12:53 remaining in the third period. 2-0 the Bruins lead. Now Carpenter. In against Cove. Now the puck will go to the corner boards. Recovered there by Wesley. Hope chasing him. Now here's a 2-on-1 break. Carter getting it over the goal. He is checked from behind by Polino, and back up the ice comes Andrechuk. He'll lead the rush for Buffalo. Now moving into the Boston zone. Andrechuk trying to get to the corner. Checked by. He gets it back in behind the net now to Polino. Carpenter's there. Housley's in deep. Here's Housley trying to bring it out in front to get the shot of back. And Riley scores! Housley! Gets his third goal in the last 2 games. And his 13th goal of the season.
This is the way you work it out in the blackboard before the game. Watch the front of the net. 1, 2, 3 Sabres charging in there. A total of 6 players in front of the goaltender. What chance has the goaltender got to see the puck? The big thing at this point is that Housley gets the puck on the net. he gets it on the net and it doesn't go directly at the goaltender, it's going in. There's no way in this world they can see the puck. Look at all the men in front. 1, 2, 3 right there into the far corner.
Housley gets his 4th goal of the last 8 games, and the Sabres are back in it with 12:23 remaining. Bork comes to center. He fires that one. Oh, right over the glass and into the crowd.
There's so many people in front of the net, nobody picked Housley up. He had plenty of time. Actually, if he wanted to, he could have spun around and went to the forehand. Bill Housley, his 13th goal of the season from Mike Foligno and Dave Anderchuk. Bruins now with just a 1-goal lead, 12-18 remaining in the 3rd period of play. Hang on to your hats. This baby's for first place tonight.
Now Bork back at his own blue line. We'll see whether or not it'll inspire the Buffalo Sabres as it comes back into the Boston zone. Bork being chased there by Turgeon. Now Bork trying to clear it, comes back to center. And it's taken by Snuggerud, and again it's sent it back into the Boston zone. Don Sweeney getting it off the glass, kept in by Snuggerud. He'll give it to Turgeon. Turgeon behind the net. Turgeon with McGillty in front, and McGillty lost it off the blade of his stick. Now Neely comes right back at center with the long shot. Cooper deflecting that to the far board. Quickly gets it back in behind the net. Ramsey sends it off the glass. It'll come to McGillty. Sweeps it ahead to Snuggerud. Now gives it to Turgeon into the Boston zone. Snuggerud in after it. Into the corner. Bork is there. It'll come back behind the net to McGillty. Here's McGillty. Still with it. Tried to get it through to Ramsey, but it's intercepted and the Bruins come right back. Quickly in over the line. Now McGillty takes it away. And they catch the Bruins making a change. McGillty comes into the Boston zone now. And McGillty is hit and knocked down. Here comes Danny back into the Buffalo zone. Danny winds up with the shot and over the glass and into the crowd. And listen to the fans booing the referee.
Alex McGillty with an opportunity coming up here after he's the beneficiary of a beautiful pass from Pierre Turgeon. In too close, too tight, too much on the pass to get control of the puck.
Takes off inside the Buffalo blue line. Lindsman against Ludzik. Ludzik wins the draw, sends it back, and now gets it to Boncher. Now it'll go to Housley. Housley works it back to Boncher. Here's the pass. Ludzik whips it back to the Boston line. It's third in by Five, and then Five is taken down by Galley. Well, look at the program coming onto the ice here. It'll come back now to Boncher. It'll go to Chemeta. Here's the pass, and it's called to the offside. Five taken down to the ice, and listen to this crowd. Galley and Benoit Hogue are going to go to the penalty box on the far side, and Hogue is just yelling at Galley.
Galley was going by Hogue, and when they were crossing one another, Galley took a swung at Hogue, and then Hogue went after him, and that's when the referee said that'll be enough. Now watch the action right here. The fans are yelling for a penalty here. Not a bad idea. You can't call that one, you might not call any. Now you look at referee Gary Fraser, not the most popular guy in the building right now, but if you're a Boston Bruins fan, you're saying, boy, I'll tell you, it takes a lot of guts for the referee not to call that right here at the home arena. Now Benoit Hogue is trying to leave the penalty box, go right over Patrick Galley. You have one leg over the board.
Now Housley is going over to try to calm Hogue down. Now a referee, Gary Fraser, goes over to speak to Hogue. It's a 2-1 score. The Bruins lead with 10:35 left here in the 3rd period.
Unfortunately for Buffalo, all the booing or anything you want to talk about, the scoreboard stays the same, 2-1 in Boston's favor. That doesn't change until you find a way to put another puck in the net.
Now recovered by Boncher, gets it back to Housley. He fell down, but he gets it over to Boncher. And he'll clear it back to the Boston line. Weimer. He'll come right back into the Buffalo zone. Boncher trying to knock it through, gives it to Parker. Here they come. Housley takes it over the line. Parker with the pass. Went right through to Lemelin. Now Housley gets it back. Taken by McGuire. McGuire into the corner. McGuire looking. The pass in front. Lemelin stops Housley. Lemelin waited far to goal crease to make the save on Phil Housley.
That's a nice play by Kevin McGuire, one of the best plays he's made in quite a while. And Housley tippy-toeing in from his blue line position. They have really contained him quite well early in the game, but they're starting to lose Housley now as the game goes on. Baccio marched right in, stepped in by two of the Bruin players. No one noticed them. But before the game, the coaching staff for Boston, especially a guy like Teddy Sater, who knows Housley inside and out, he had to preach for a half hour to his players to keep an eye on Housley when he walks in from the blue line. He'll do it all night long. So you wonder where Boston's, where their head is right now. They know he's going to march in there, and he still gets away with it.
And there's a little guy with a souvenir holding on to the ball. He's almost asleep.
Is he cute?
And Sabretooth with a couple of little girls from the far side. Now it'll come back and cleared back to the Buffalo blue line. Parker will bring it back at center. 5 steps one. Sends it on into the Boston zone. Gets it off the glass. Now Don Sweeney. Cleared it. Now Ramsey back at his own line. Works it through to top the skate of Neely. Neely steps in over the line. He's bumped, falls down, gets up. Lets the drive go, and Poopa gloves out with Carter right there in front of the Buffalo goal crease. 9:35 now remaining.
One way to tell when a player's improving is watch when he gets control of the puck. When he really hasn't got his confidence, he can't wait to get rid of it. I mean, let me get rid of this. I don't want to carry it. I have no confidence. But when he has his confidence, he wants to carry it. He wants to carry it over the blue line. He wants to coddle the puck, control it, work guys around a little bit into the position that he wants them in before he makes the pass. Parker's starting to show that a little bit at times.
There's some guy standing over there in the seat. He's standing up on the seat, waving a Bruins pennant. Nobody's paying too much attention to him. They're probably saying, sit down. Face-off will be in the left of Poopa. 25 shots for the Bruins, 24 for Buffalo.
Well, the Bruins pulled one out against Buffalo the last time they played here, 4-3 in overtime. Janney scored that goal. First place at stake here tonight. Bruins have the 1-goal lead, 9:35 remaining in the third period.
Now Janney hit against Turgeon. Turgeon putting the draws into the back of the corner. Housley works it up to McGillty. Back to Bork. There's a pass in front, but Carter missed it. Now Bodger's taken down. With them back and behind the net. Housley working it through to McGillty. Here's the pass. Gets it to Turgeon. Now to Snuggerud, and it's an offside call at the Boston line.
You look at Pierre Turgeon, as I mentioned earlier, he's played better hockey in his NHL career, certainly played better hockey at times this season. And when you think of those close games Buffalo have lost, and if he was going full blast, playing it right at the top of his game, you'd have to think there might have been some ties or some wins thrown in there instead of losses.
Now they've got a line of Lutzig, 5, and Arneal. Now Bodger giving it to Lutzig, and he just tipped it back to center. Bork backs up, being watched by Arneal, and go to the far side to Peterson. Here's the pass to Gould. Takes the shot against Bodger, comes right back to him. Bodger and Gould go to the corner. Carpenter getting it out in front. And then 5 just got a stick on it before Brickley could get the shot away. Housley. Housley works it through and off the skate of Arneal. He'll come back at center. 3 Bruins are back. Arneal in over the Boston line. Shoots it in off the corner boards. Lutzig goes in after it. Lutzig 5, Peterson. Now the loose puck. Arneal goes after it. He comes up with it. Here's Arneal. Lets the shot go. Lemelin makes the save. Peterson comes up with the rebound, and he'll work it back into the Buffalo zone. There will be no icing. Ramsey will go back after it. Again, the Bruins make a quick change with 8:13 to go. Here at the third period. 2-1 the Bruins lead. Now there's the pass to Turgeon into the Boston zone. Turgeon lets the shot go, but it was blocked. Turgeon going to the boards. McGillty comes up on the play to try to keep it in for Buffalo. Now Turgeon, McGillty. Here comes the Snuggerud. He tried to clear it. And he lost it off the plate of the second. The Bruins break back. Burridge in over the line. He lost it. And it's an outside call at the Buffalo blue line with 7:45 now remaining. Now Hogue steps onto the ice. And they're going to take him directly to the Buffalo bench. Now Galley leads.
It's not a bad idea. If they have that much vengeance for one another, they'll have their opportunity here before this game is over.
Well, both teams have had 25 shots on goal. Bruins with a 1-goal lead, 7:45 remaining in period number 3.
Is there any way we can find out what Bork eats?
What he eats?
Just what he eats, because I don't know what type of fuel he goes on, but it's awful good wherever he's eating. The amount of ice time he logs every game and does it consistently game after game, and he's just there every night.
Now Ledger giving it to Andrechuk. Andrechuk tried to get it through, taken by Foligno, and he drives that one into the Boston zone. It's gloved by Lemelin. Round it'll come to Christian. Taken by Bob Sweeney. Sweeney steps in over the line, going in on goal with the shot. Pupa makes the save. Burridge comes up to the rebound, lets the drive go, and it was a weakened glove easily by Pupa. But recovered by Ledger. Now for Ramsey. He'll come over the blue line, gets to center. Now into the Boston zone with it. Ramsey trying to get in deep. Don Sweeney's there, gets it off the glass. It'll come back to center. Ledger knocks it away. He gets it back over the blue line. Now Burridge. He'll work it back in. Foligno comes up with it. Now giving it to Ledger with 6:50 remaining in the third period. He'll get to center. Shoots it back into the Boston zone. Fourth. Round it'll go. Buffalo making the player change. As Coop goes back into his own zone for it. Now the pass to McGuire. Here's McGuire over the line. Knocks it through back to the Boston line. Peterson. He'll tip it. It's gloved now by Coop. Coop giving it to Bodger. Now back to McGuire. He could not get to the pass. And again, it's tipped back into the Buffalo zone. Bodger going in after it. Left it there now. Here's Coop. Sends it over the line. Parker, and he lost it. Now taken by Coop. Loose puck at the line, knocked away by Parker. Again, it's cleared back into Buffalo territory. The rolling puck at Bodger must go back after it. 6 minutes now remaining here in the third. 2-1 the Bruins lead. It's broken up by Gould again. The Bruins clear it right back in. Bodger with Brickley. Bodger steps away from Brickley. Coop clearing it now to Ray. Here's the pass, giving it to McGuire into the Boston zone. Parker coming up on the play. Working it back in behind the Boston net. Ray will go to the corner. Make the line. Now Carpenter. Round the glass. Here's Housley. Wesley. Ledger goes back after it. 5:30 left. Out comes to Ray. Ray's pass over to Ledger. Steps to center. Winds up with the long drive, and he just fired it wide to the Boston net. Snuggerud will keep it in. It'll come around now. He's cut out by Ledger with a shot there. That one off the glass. Here's Housley, but it's tipped by Brickley back into the Buffalo zone. And the Bruins will be called for icing as Ledger goes back to touch it. And 5 minutes and 5 seconds left in the third. Well, they dropped the puck, and now they're going to do it again.
That's unfortunate. Buffalo were stepping into a pretty good situation right there. Something was thrown out in the ice. I think it's a dead rat. Linesman doesn't want to pick it up. Not there. No, he's going to kick it. Just in case it's real.
Face off again in the Bruins zone. Turgeon, Carpenter. Now 5 trying to get to it. Don Sweeney's there. Bort. It'll come back in behind the net to Mogilny out in front. And Housley came in and shot it just wide of the Boston net. Now Christian works it through to Sweeney. He ran into the linesman. Now to come back. Now to the Boston blue line. It'll go to the far side. Here comes Don Sweeney over the line. Lets the drive go. Puppa makes the save. Left it there for Housley. Gets it off the boards. Back to Sweeney with another drive, and that's behind the net. Now Mogilny picks it on. He'll start back, but lost it. Now Ramsey clears it to center. Burridge, Housley, and Mogilny ran into each other. They both went to the ice. Now there's 4:23 left here in the third. Here's the pass. Up to 5. Now it goes to Hogue in over the line, but there's a whistle at the blue line. Oh, sticks get up. Wesley didn't like it. Now Vibe steps in, but Hogue had let the shot go just as the whistle had sounded.
There was another time where Buffalo were marching in for an offensive chance and it was an offside.
Now there's a high sticking call going to the Bruins. I don't know whether
what about Hogue
or not.
They both have. Hogue brought his stick up also. They both have. Yeah, they're both going to go.
Wesley goes to the penalty box. Hogue back in the penalty box with 4:16 left here in the third period. Here's the announcement.
And Buffalo penalties number 33, Benoit Hogue. Each 2 minutes for high sticking. Wesley and Hogue. Each 2 minutes for high sticking. The time 15:44.
Face off will be over the Boston blue line.
But the first 15 minutes of this period, said Raymond Bourque has played 8 minutes and 10 seconds.
Now Ludwig winning the draw. Here is Krupp with it. He'll send it off the boards back into the Boston zone. Ludwig trying to get into the play against Bourque. Rounds will go to the far side. Krupp catching up to it. Manages to keep it in. Back in behind the net to Ludwig. Ludwig with a backhand drive. And he is stopped there by Lemelin. Neely. Ludwig after it. Now O'Neill. Bourque trying to get to it. He will flip it. Glove down by Krupp. Now knocked away back into the Boston zone. And Bourque is there. Leaving it now for Janney. Ahead to Neely. Knocked away by Barger. Recovered by Janney. 3:40 left here in the third period. Peterson will tip it back into the Buffalo zone. Now Barger's pass to Krupp. Krupp sends it back to the Boston line. Now comes back to Krupp again. It'll go to Parker. Ahead now to Arneal. Flipped it on into the Boston zone. Round the boards it'll come to Neely. He'll clear it. Ledgert is there. Now John Sweetie recovered by Foligno. Foligno steps into the Boston zone. Here's Foligno trying to get around Galley. Was unable to. Now John Sweetie's there with 3 minutes now remaining here in the third period. And Owsley elects to send it back into the Boston zone. Galley getting it to center. Ledgert. He puts Brickley into the boards. Now Housley giving it to Parker. Slaps that one in. Foligno waiting for it. Now Foligno taking the boards. Parker moves in against Bob Sweeney. It'll come back now in behind the net. Bourque takes over. 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. It'll go to Bob Sweeney. He knocked it ahead, and Housley is back to get it. Housley lost it to Gould. They'll go to the corner. Now Gould's trying to kick at it. Here's Housley. Now giving it to Andrechuk. They come back with 2:20 left. Andrechuk steps into the Boston zone. Sends it out into the corner. Peterson in after it. Andrechuk puts it into the board. Parker's there. Andrechuk trying to dig it free. He is checked from behind. Christian will come up with it. And there's 2 minutes now remaining in the third period. Krupp winds up with a big drive on the top. The boards and recovered by Bourque. And again it's sent back into the Buffalo zone. Burridge racing after the loose puck. He comes up with it. Here's Burridge. He's checked. Now recovered by Turgeon. Turgeon slides it ahead to McGildy. At center, into the Boston zone. McGildy trying to get around. Lost his stick on the play. He tried to kick it back. Now Vibe. Here's Christian with it. And it's cleared back into the 1:34 left to play. Buffa, we can see him probably leave the goal crease in a moment. Now McGildy. Here's McGildy. He is stopped at center. Reaches back after it. Christian gets in over the line. He is bumped there by Ramsey. Now there's 1:19 left. It'll come back in behind the net. Ahead to Turgeon. 1:14 to go. Turgeon brings it back into the Boston zone. It'll bounce through to Lemelin, and Bourque comes up with it. He can't clear it. Here's Housley keeping it in. 5 gets it back now to Turgeon. Here's Turgeon in front of the net, and Bourque there. Brook has gone to the bench. Here's 5. 6 skaters now for Buffalo. Carpenter gets it around and back into the Buffalo zone with 49 seconds to go. Bouncer reaches back after it. Now he'll come to center. He winds that one back into the Boston zone. cleared, can't get it out. Here's Housley with a long shot. Lemelin makes the save. Bork after the loose puck. Now quickly goes after it. It'll come back and over the line. 33 seconds to go. It'll come back to Housley. Here's Housley. And again, sends it, but he hit the leg of the linesman, and Neely's got an open net. He shoots, and he shot it wide. Housley back after it. And the quick pass. It's dropped there for Polino into the Boston zone. With the step, and he lost it, and Lemelin knocks it into the corner. Out taken by Snuggerud. Get to the back. Here's Polino. 10 seconds to go. 10 seconds left. Back in behind the net. They jam at it. A loose puck. 4 seconds remaining. There's a big drive, and Lemelin makes the save. And that's it. The game is over. Lemelin stops the Sabres, and the Bruins now with 53 points have gone in the lead in the Adams division. And also in the lead overall in the National Hockey League. Shots on goal in that third period. Buffalo 8 and the Bruins with a total of 6. Now we're going to look at the replay. There's the shot. Lemelin makes the save. The puck goes up. It